Hello, snowboarders of the internet. I'm your host, Avran LeFeber, and this is Top 5s, the only weekly Top 5 show in snowboarding that'll tell you where the hidden gems are. That's right, this week's episode, we're going to be talking about the most under-hyped snowboards for 2024-2025. These are those hidden gems, the ones that people are looking past, the ones that aren't going to sell out, but they are an exceptional ride. So let's dive right into it. Number 5, the Nidecker Gamma. Do you like twins? Do you like asymmetrical twins? Do you like asymmetrical twins that have really good pop and are still buttery in the tips? There you go. That's the Gamma. Unfortunately with Nidecker, one, their brand recognition outside of Europe, still a little diminishing for how old they are. They need to really build that back up. The other part of that is that they've added more boards to their sensor lineup, and that's overshadowing how good this twin truthfully is. That asymmetrical side cut is dialed. This thing will turn on a dime on the heel edge or the toe edge. It's buttery in the tips and you can press it on a feature. It's got good pop. It's just a good all-around twin board, but between the size limitations, the Nidecker brand recognition, at least in North America, which is where our big market is, it doesn't get noticed as much. Should you sleep on it? Oh, hell no. This thing is really, really solid. Number 4, the Nerd Superposition. This has been on the list before, but just not enough of you are looking at nerd snowboards, which you should be. The Superposition with its pointy shape, blunt tail, you look at it, oh, it's a powder board. That's all it's good for. No, this is a good all-mountain freeride board. Solid snap, amazing edge hold. That shape helps funnel the snow out when you're riding POW, but if you get on a groomer and you just want to rip trenches with it, you can. It's a board that not everyone's gonna have, but it's super solid. Yeah, my friend Jordan started it. I've been there since the beginning of this brand coming into fruition. If it had sucked, I wouldn't be hyping it up. But it was good. Trust me, it was very, very good. And it's been on this list before. Even though it's been moved down a few spots, it's still solid. Also, they are offering it in more sizes this year. So if you were kind of turned off by the limited size runs, just note they've added 2 more for you. So for you smaller and medium people, there's options for you now. Number 3, the Borealis Artifact. This is a criminally underrated board in my opinion. It was top of the list last year. It really stood out to me as just one of those boards that, because of it being based out of France and not having that brand recognition in North America or that distribution, you're not gonna see it. It's got a good side cut, it grips well, it's got great pop, it's coming out of a great factory, GP87. I love the stuff the GP87's making. They've made a lot of great boards for a lot of smaller brands out there. It's just a good board. It's that rad dad quintessential all-mountain freeride board. It floats well in POW, it's got solid pop-off rollers, and it turns. Now, granted, you're probably gonna pay a little bit more in shipping having to order it from France, but, you know, still a solid board. Like, those of you guys that did jump on it last year, leave a comment down below. Tell people what they've been missing out on. We're about halfway through this video, and you know what you haven't done? Give it a thumbs up. Do it. Do it now. Okay. While you're down there, if you haven't subscribed, do that as well. Click the bell, get those notifications. That way you're not missing any of the programming we've got coming out for you. And believe me, we've been making a lot of programming. A lot. Like, I think as I'm filming this video, we've got something like 400 videos done for you. So, you know, you can expect a lot of content from us, so why not get notified? That way you're not missing it. Number 2, the Wired Arc. I did not know what to think of this board when it came in. I was looking at it going, wow, that thing's really wide. There's a couple other boards in that category, and there's some overlap with what Wired has going on. I got on that thing on a foot-deep powder day in the spring. It was heavy POW, unsinkable. And for as wide as it was still super nimble. This thing would just allow you to get on edge with ease on a groomer, but the float was phenomenal in it. And Like I said, it's wider, so you big-footed Satchmos, this is something you need to be checking out. It's just that good. And Wired makes really solid stuff. They're building boards up in Vancouver, and they have two lines. They have the stuff that they build in Vancouver, and then they have like their mass-produced line that comes out of China. They're both solid factories. I've ridden both. You pretty much can't distinguish one from the other. That's how dialed they are. Rob Dow, the owner of Wired, he's been making boards for 20 plus years. He's got that experience. This is a great addition to their lineup. I was so thoroughly impressed with this thing. And for it being wide, you know, and just having that like abrupt upkick, that more shovel tip in there, you could still pow butter with it. You could still like get on a groomer and rip a turn. Just criminally underrated. And I know I've said that about a few on the decks on this list, but this thing just, it blew me away. It was just that good. Honorable mentions, all great options, but just barely didn't crack the top 5 of this list. The Yes Pick Your Line Uninc. A lot of you guys are still sleeping on this board. Maybe it was the turtle graphic, I don't know, but this year they put a wolf on it, and it's possibly the best graphic on there, unless you talk to TC, because he's going to argue with you about it. This is a good, like, powder-focused freeride board that you can kind of do everything with. It's a little bit more directional than most of the boards on this list, but it's good. It's just that good. The Rossignol Retox. I think people sleep on Rossignol as a brand in general, especially the Retox from them. It's just a good cambered twin snowboard. Like, it just feels like an old school cambered twin snowboard. It's got good response. It's got good pop. It'll rip a carve when you absolutely need to. That's why it made it on this list. TC and I were talking about it, and he hadn't been on one in probably 8 years. He got on it and was like, I forgot how good this is. Like, this is so criminally underrated, and I should be recommending it more. And I was like, I agree. We should be recommending it more. And that's why we put it on this list. And finally, we have the Jones Aviator 2.0, TC's board of choice. I think people are kind of turned off with this deck because of the initial flex right away. But after about 15 days of riding, it really breaks in and becomes just this solid all-mountain, free ride, freestyle. It's kind of an amalgamation of both deck. It's got good edge hold, it's got good snap. You can still ride it in POW with minimal leg burn. And it's even damp to a point. Like I said, these were all great options, but just barely didn't crack the top 5 of our list. Like what we're doing over here? Want to support us further? Swing on over to Angry Snowboarder VIP and become a member. Sure, I could tell you more here, but I got a video over there that explains it so much better. And the number 1 underhyped board for 2025 is the newly redesigned Rome Warden. I have loved this board in the past, and then finding out that they changed the shape on it, I was like, oh, this isn't going to be that good. I got on it and was like, God damn, I don't want to get off this thing. For the price and for what this board is, so many people can ride it, whether you're a progressing beginner, a solid intermediate, or even an expert level rider that just wants something with a more friendly flex to it that you can still charge with if you have to. You can still go hit the park. You can still ride POW. I love this board. It's just so criminally underrated, and I keep saying that term over and over again. It's to the point it's become redundant, but this is such a sleeper, if you will. This is one of those boards that it doesn't matter who you are, you can get on it and go out. I had one for a whole season. I can have anything I want, and I chose one. And that one was great. This is even better than that. I love the shaping of it. I love that camber profile. The side cut is so dialed. This is just a good board that people tend to look past. I see a lot of them for sale in the spring or in the next year in the fall. And I'm like, why are you people not buying this? Is it because you're like, oh, I need to go buy the top of the line because if I buy the best, I'm going to ride like the best? No, you don't. You can go buy this mid-level board that won't hold you back, and it does everything so well. Like, Rome really, really designed and knocked it out of the park, this deck. It's just so good with what they've done with it. This has been our top 5 underhyped snowboards for 2025. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Do you own something on this list? Are you going to buy something off this list? You should probably buy something off this list. It's cool to be a little unique and not have something that everyone else has. Anyways, leave me a comment down below. Let's have a conversation about this list.